Do you know what? That actually raises another point as well that I want. It's not on our to-do list, but I really wanted to talk about it. Like the importance of the IP of a game. You know, the intellectual property of a game, and how that affects people willing to play it or numbers playing it. You know, when a new Street Fighter game comes out, you know people are going to give it a go. When a new Mortal Kombat game comes out, you know the West are going to play it. You know. And I'm sure you have sort of equivalent titles, as you just showed, the Gundam game in Japan. A lot of people will give it a go because of the strength of the IP. A lot of casuals will give it a go, and therefore you have an influx of new competitive players as they discover that they're actually good at the game.
Yeah.
Do you feel that that's something that's very important when new games come out?
I think Street Fighter is a bit lucky. Like, you don't have to really know anything about Street Fighter. You just know that back in the day, you probably played it when you were a kid, and then just because of that, you'll give it a chance. But if like Skullgirls or something, like you won't give it a chance unless like someone forces you to play, or unless you really like the character designs or something, you know, or you're like a die-hard fighting game fan.
Yeah.
So Street Fighter's a bit lucky, and Tekken as well. Like, you know, a lot of UFC fighters. I don't know because I know Logan watches it a little bit, and Long used to watch it, but if you pay attention to interviews even now or in the past, a lot of them like talk about Street Fighter or Tekken. There's a fighter named Uriah Hall, and he before he even learned martial arts, he just learned it by emulating like Tekken moves, and now he's like a top 10 fighter.
Yeah,
just juggling people in real life.
Yeah, but he's good. So, you know.
Yeah. And
where was I going with this? So I mean, like, that just shows that like. Because those guys, they don't play Street Fighter at a competitive level, but they'll mention it in the media, you know. Yeah. So Street Fighter and Tekken will have a chance. Other games, unfortunate.
I think like for me, like the Marvel games are a really good example of that because they're basically air dashers, right? They're basically anime games, but the cartoon characters that they're using are Western ones. So people give that a chance. Whereas if it's like a cast of half naked lolly girls, they're kind of like. Stay over there, sort of thing. Well, some people are not, Japanese. But like, yeah.
Darkstalkers is a good example of that.
Yeah,
it's a really good Marvel game, but it doesn't have Marvel characters, right?
Yeah,
and that's why it doesn't really appeal to the Western audience.
And obviously, every Mortal Kombat game that comes out, they've got a really strong. Their sales are really, really strong. They might not have the same numbers of competitive players, but the Mortal Kombat sales are much stronger than Street Fighter, as far as I'm aware.
Yeah, it is. It's it really blows out any fighting game sale in the last 2 years, right?
And that's literally off the strength of like American sales as well.
Right. Yeah.
So it shows you how important those IPs are. So I mean, hopefully Capcom make a bit more of it, because I really feel that they've not made much of, you know, the awareness of Street Fighter characters. I mean, if you show the average person on the street, I don't know what it's like in the States or in Japan, but you know, I know if I showed the average person on the street in the West End shopping pictures of the original 8 World Warriors, they'd probably know 6 of them by name. And that's really strong. You know, I would argue that outside of maybe 5 or 6 comic book characters, Ryu and Ken are probably some of the most well-known characters out there, and they don't really do much with it at all, which is kind of weird. Like I should be able to go and buy, you know, Dragon Punch T-shirts and all sorts of stuff like that out there. There should be cartoon shows, good films being made, like all that sort of stuff, and I don't really feel like they've ever done anything with it.
Well, I mean, if you like really if you go into more detail about this, I mean, we might be stepping on people's shoes, or we might be sounding like we are heavily criticizing Capcom, but I mean, that's honestly your opinion. Yeah, and I feel it's the same too. I mean, Street Fighter should have never died, in my opinion. It died because they ran out of ideas on how to promote it, and even now, I think if you were to market it correctly, I think Street Fighter could be even bigger than it is.
I definitely agree with that, 100%.
I mean, if team games like what the most successful esports game is League of Legends, right?
Yeah.
And it's a team game, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of people in regular sports that like don't relate to team games. They relate to individual sports. Like they don't understand why do you feel so proud that another team won? Like, did you really contribute? Like a lot of people feel that way, and they probably feel that way in video games as well. And that's exactly how I feel. Like if you won a team tournament, did you really feel like you won the tournament? Probably not, right? You know. So,
and it's never as important. It's never as important as winning the solo tournament. You know, it's always the team tournament's always a side event. Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest. You can lose all your matches and still win a team tournament. So,
of course.
Just like in real sports.
There's loads of people that have got championship rings or winners medals in teams that you look back at the players and they're not good players, but they might have been in a team with Michael Jordan or Tom Brady or David Beckham or whoever, and they've been carried to victory, I guess. Not so much. I mean, not so much when you've got like the 5-man teams that you get in esports, but it's an interesting line of thought.